Yo guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Didi Tekz, and guys, right now, who wouldn't want to be an Arsenal fan at this moment? Because we're really loving life. The boys, they're playing so well. Guys, I'm sure you guys know that Arsenal, we beat Crystal Palace 1-0 with the stunning goal from Brilliance against his former side to give Arsenal that important 3 points, and yet again another clean sheet. And guys, watching this game, watching how the game went out, looking at the context of the table, Arsenal now going 4 points clear at the top of the table, it really shows that Arsenal, this season, it really is our season. This Premier League is ours for the taking. Looking at the bad form from Liverpool, Manchester City, and looking how strong Arsenal is as a whole in terms of our defense line, us going forward, our set pieces, the strength of the whole squad in general. And if we're going to be going over to teams like Man City, who many people could say that they have an over-reliance on the goal of the goals of Erling Haaland, that's in complete contrast to Arsenal, because we're getting goals from so many different areas on the pitch. The latest, Brilliance. There's a stat that in Arsenal's last 9 Premier League games, they have all been goals from different players, and that's fabulous to see from a team who with aspirations to win the league, showing that we don't just rely on Bukayo Saka to get us goals, or Victor Gyökeres. We get goals from all over the pitch. Now going on to the game in itself, it was a really good performance from the Arsenal side, and like I said, going over against a hard team like Crystal Palace with dangerous players like Jean-Philippe Mateta, Ismail Assar, Yerry Pino, brilliant midfielders like Adam Wharton. What I really admire is the fact that Arsenal did so well. We didn't let Crystal Palace play. We didn't let Adam Wharton make the game tick, pick his forward passes. We were really giving the Crystal Palace players something to think about. We used our wingers very well. Victor Gyökeres running the channels, he worked ever so hard. But the two stand-up players in this game against Crystal Palace were our two fullbacks, Yuri Timber and Ricardo Calafiori. In my opinion, this season, they have been the two best fullbacks in the Premier League, especially with Ricardo Calafiori, because he goes under the radar. People are always looking at Miles Lewis-Skelly and how good he was last season, and also we didn't really get to see the brilliance of Ricardo Calafiori last season, because that was due to the fact that his season was heavily interrupted by injuries, in the form of Miles Lewis-Skelly, with him playing so well in the big Champions League games like he did against Real Madrid. There was not really much space for Ricardo Calafiori, but with the signings of Brilliance, Mikel Arteta opting to play wingers like Leandro Trossard, who are not as quick, maybe that's really well suited for Ricardo Calafiori, to push up, to make the pitch wide, to create the width. But if we were to play with a winger like Gabriel Martinelli more frequently, that's probably where Miles Lewis-Skelly would be well suited, because it would make the game more balanced. And also going over to the right back, Yuri Timber, he's been so solid, so consistent for Arsenal. Like I said with Ricardo Calafiori, he's been the best right back in the Premier League by a mile, and arguably in the world. He's been so strong, so brilliant on the ball, which is a really underrated part to his game, is the fact that Yuri Timber really knows how to weave his way out of situations, use his ball mastery, body feints, link up so well with Bukayo Saka, and he's just becoming so solid for Arsenal. Now guys, in this game we got another clean sheet, and this is our 9th clean sheet of the season. The way Arsenal, we've started the season is just remarkable. We've only conceded 3 goals in 12 games, and yes, that can come to so many factors, us having a brilliant goalkeeper in David Raya, but the main aspect is Gabriel Saliba and Ricardo Calafiori and Timber. That back line so far this season has been stellar, and what I really commend this Arsenal back line, because we have gone against difficult teams already this season like Atletico Madrid. We did so well to keep Julian Alvarez quiet for the large majority of the game. We went against Liverpool, although we lost to a stunning free kick from Dominic Szoboszlai, we did so well to keep Hugo Ekitike quiet. We kept Florian Wirtz quiet. We also kept Mohamed Salah quiet in that game. We also went against Manchester City, although yes, Erling Haaland scored, but to be honest, that was really Man City's only attack, because we dominated the whole game. We nullified players like Jeremy Doku, Phil Foden, and stopped them from having any impact of the game. And for Arsenal, who are really looking to win the big trophies this season, we're going to have to continue, keeping other teams' best players quiet, let's say deeper into the Champions League. If we're going to be facing, the PSGs, the Barcelonas, the Real Madrids, Arsenal, we're really going to need to have, the habit of keeping all of those star men quiet, and that's what we've done so well starting into this season. We went against the Crystal Palace team with having Jean-Philippe Matata. You know, he's a striker who's so strong, he's quick, he's clinical, he's a real handful for defenders, and to be honest, he did cause a bit of chaos in the first 10 minutes of the game, but as the game panned out, Arsenal, we asserted our dominance, we gained our control, and we continued to dominate, and we really did keep players like Ismail Assar, Jean-Philippe Matata, Yerry Pino quiet in this game. Like I said, this title is in our hands because going over to the bad form of Liverpool, because last season Liverpool was so strong, to be honest, for the whole season, and obviously Arsenal, we weren't as good defensively because we suffered injuries to William Saliba and also to Gabriel, and now us signing, you know, Christian Mosquera to fill in, like we saw William Saliba coming off at half-time. Maybe it's an injury, maybe it's precaution. Now we have a brilliant player in Christian Mosquera who can come on and fit the system, and to be honest, there's not really any lack of quality because Mosquera is so talented. Also, when we're subbing off players like Bukayo Saka, because maybe it could be a minor knock, it can be just to rest him, because that's something we really failed to do in the previous seasons because we were overplaying Bukayo Saka. We can bring on Gabriel Martinelli to the right wing, as well as Gabriel Martinelli being able to play on the left. We can also bring Ifeanyi from the bench. We can also bring in, you know, a few cameos for the youngster Max Dalman, and it just shows how strong our squad is this season. Looking over to our main contenders, in my opinion, guys, I know Man United right now they're 4th in the table or like 6th. There are also teams like Chelsea looking decent, Tottenham, but in my opinion, the main 2 contenders Arsenal have to win the Premier League, as well as Manchester City and Liverpool. And if we're really going to break down Manchester City and Liverpool seasons so far, it really shows that these teams are nowhere near the level of Arsenal. We're going to go to Liverpool. Liverpool have so much attacking talent in Salah, Verts, Ekitike, Isak, Gakpo, the list goes on. But going over to Liverpool's defence, they're so vulnerable. When we played Liverpool earlier on in the season, Arsenal, we did create attacking moments, but I think many people would have said that Mikel Arteta went into that game, you know, being a bit scared, being more defensive minded, starting Mikel Merino in that kind of game. But it really showed that with Arsenal's squad, we didn't even have Bukayo Saka, you know, William Saliba, he came off early in that game, and it shows that on another day we really could have beaten Liverpool, if not from the quality of, you know, Dominic Szoboszlai. Going over to Man City, Man City have a striker who is so ruthless in front of goal, Erling Haaland, who has scored 11 goals for Manchester City in the Premier League. But there's a frightening and concerning stat for Manchester City, and it's that, you know, excluding all of Erling Haaland's goals, you know, Man City, they only have like 2 own goals, a goal for Reinders, a goal for Doku, a goal for Phil Foden, and these players are getting 1-1-1 goals each. So if you exclude Erling Haaland's goal, and like we saw with Manchester City against Aston Villa, Aston Villa's main focus was to cut off the service to Erling Haaland, was to stop Erling Haaland from scoring, because sometimes it feels like if Erling Haaland doesn't score, Man City don't score because he's so good, he relies the biggest threat. And the fact that is, Man City still have never looked the same since Rodri got that ACL injury against Arsenal. You know, he's still fitting in because Rodri is so important to Manchester City's team. They tried to play to Johnny Reinders in Rodri's role, but it looked like it just didn't work, and it shows that Arsenal, us having that big squad, if anyone was to get injured, we still have players to fill in. So that's why I really feel like this Premier League title is ours, you know, for the taking. We just need to stay strong. What we need to do, keep our best players fit. We need to continue to capitalise, you know, like we saw Liverpool losing, Manchester City losing. What we need to do, we need to keep on winning, because many times last season there will be times where, let's say, Liverpool drop points, they'll get a draw, Manchester City will lose, and it will be in just the hands of Arsenal to get the 3 points and go top of the table. But sometimes Arsenal would fail to deliver. Is it maybe due to Mikel Arteta overthinking things in terms of his team selections or the performances of the players not being good enough? But we can never say that so far this season, because our team is so strong, and we still have other players like Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, Noni Madueke, Martin Odegaard to still come back from injury, and that will just bring more competition for places in the team. And with more competition for places, you know, the increase in performances will be so much better, you know, for the players. And having this much of, you know, the amount of good players for this Arsenal side gives Mikel Arteta so much to think about, and really makes Arsenal going forward so scary. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please make sure you like, comment, share and subscribe. Put down in the comment section below your opinion on the game between Arsenal and Crystal Palace and your opinion on if this is Arsenal's year to get the Premier League title, to win those big trophies, down in the comment section below. And without being said, it's Didi Tekz out.